No, it's been fairly quiet as regards that environmental activist or protest group, Just Stop Oil. Our roads relatively glue-free at the moment, but perhaps it won't be lasting for long because protesters may be ramping up their efforts for 2023 with detailing plans for new protests in a letter to Downing Street, would you believe? Well, joining us now is Sam, a spokesperson for Just Stop Oil. Sam, thank you very much indeed. Interesting approach, because part of the sort of efforts you had with the motorways were the surprise protests. Are you actually now giving the government details about what you want to do and where?
Well, hi, thank you very much for having me on. Yeah, I'm Sam, I'm 39, I'm a construction worker from Essex. And yeah, Just Stop Oil has a very simple demand, and that is that the UK government halts all new future oil and gas licences.
That's not going to happen. So what will be the next step in terms of perhaps any kind of discussion or engagement with the government? Or do you actually just say, well, we're going to start gluing ourselves to the roads once more?
That's a very good question. Yes, we'd openly welcome discussions with the government. At the moment, the Labour Party has said that it will issue no new oil licences. All other political parties are in alliance with that. The International Energy Agency, which is a body that's set up to promote the production of fossil fuels, said 2 years ago that we need to end all new licences. It is only the corrupt, zombie Tory party that is pushing forward. It's accelerating fossil fuel production. It's madness. You know that.
Yeah, but clearly there's another aspect, and that is having security of energy supply, and we won't have enough in terms of renewables at the moment. And we've also seen this winter, of course, if the wind stops blowing, renewables aren't much good. So, I mean, it's going to be with us for a time yet.
We are asking for a transition. We understand we can't just turn off oil straight away. We have 8 years in reserve. We're saying use that 8 years and we make a transition to renewable energy, which is 9 times cheaper. I mean, your audience are probably watching this. A lot of them will be sitting in cold houses, cold homes, and they can't afford to put the heating on. It's madness that we're still fixated and we're still pushing forward for the next decade, 2 decades, 3 decades with oil when people can't actually afford to use it. People are freezing to death in their home this winter. People are living in damp, cold homes. Children will be getting tuberculosis because of that and dying as a result. We need to protect the most vulnerable in society. We need to make them no-brainer things, insulate our houses and go to renewables that are 9 times cheaper. I mean, would your audience members, would they rather have a bill that's £3,600 or a bill that's £400?
There is an argument, of course, that renewables actually isn't that cheap, and perhaps that won't directly bring bills down. But can I just ask you about the protests themselves?
That's not true.
I mean, well, a lot of energy analysts say it is. However, that's another argument. Let's just address what you're proposing to do. Is it the case that you've lost a lot of public support because of the way that you actually handled your protests?
The public support is actually growing. I mean, the major corporate media may be presenting it as something different, but we're out on the streets, we're talking to people. We have talks up and down the country. And I urge your viewers to come to one of our talks, check out on the website, see where your local talk is, come and speak to us and find out about civil resistance, find out how it's necessary to make the political change we need to make in the short time frame we've got, because the media, yourself at GB News, you're not conveying the urgency of what we need to do.
Well, just to address one issue, though. Yeah, just to address one issue in terms of urgency. I know that you established a so-called blue light lanes when you actually glued yourselves to the roads. I mean, in a lot of instances, in London particularly, the observation was that emergency vehicles weren't getting through. A lot of people trying to get to hospital couldn't get through because of what you were doing. Do you accept you're going to have to change that approach?
Our actions are disruptive, and we don't want to be doing them. We're in this very serious situation. We have a blue light policy, and that is we let all blue lights through. And that's it. Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, as the most senior official in world politics, has said we're on a highway to climate hell. Yeah. With our foot on the accelerator.
Right, but my question, forgive me, my question was...
All demanding is that we take our foot off the accelerator.
My question in detail was about the blue light lanes, and there are those people, including the emergency workers themselves, saying that was not adhered to on several occasions, that emergency vehicles couldn't get through because of your protests?
I know on your news channel there was like a replayed over and over again. It was an empty ambulance that was stopped for 3 minutes because it wasn't seen. That was like one incident. We let blue lights through, and you have to ask yourself if the Secretary General of the United Nations is saying we want to avoid a climate hell with a foot on the accelerator, it means we have to act. At the moment, institutions are moving away from oil, banks are moving away from oil, universities are, and all the other political parties. It's only our Tory government that is pushing forward with 100+ oil infrastructures. It is murderous what they're doing. It's sacrificing children's lives. I'm an uncle. My nephew is 7 years old. I don't want to allow him to live in a world where we have massive migrations, we have drought, we have poverty, we have starvation. That's what's happening. The government has signed up to this. This is not just me spouting off. The government signed up to it on the Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change. They know what they need to do, and they're not doing it. And
OK.
We keep going, and we urge people to come and support us.
Sam, thank you very much indeed for that. But you will know that the government is actually pursuing, trying to get planning permission for renewable sites for wind farms and for nuclear power stations as well. But obviously that's a different argument. For the moment, thank you very much indeed for your time. And of course,
we'll sit on the fence when the fence is on fire. Come join us. Thank you.
Well, that's for people to decide for themselves, of course. Thank you very much indeed for your time. And of course, we'll update you as we get more reaction from the government to what's been done in terms of that letter being delivered to Downing Street. Coming up.